Moving on, let me take the pleasure of inviting our guest of honor, Dr. Rajiv Singh Raghuvanshi, the Drugs Controller General of India from the CDSCO Government of India, to address this August gathering. Welcome you, sir.
It's a pleasure for me to stand in front of this August gathering. Respected Madam Indu Nair, Joint Secretary, Ministry of Commerce and Industries, Dr. Veeramani, Chairman of Pharmaxil, Uday Bhaskarji, Director General Pharmaxil, Honorable Health Minister, PNG, Dr. Lino Tom, other dignitaries on the dais, and delegates. As I said, it's a pleasure this morning for me to stand in front of all of you and share my views with respect to what, from regulatory point of view, this government and the country is doing to keep that confidence among the global fraternity of India being the pharmacy of the world. So let me start with just one request to give a big hand for this country and the people. A lot of you standing here, sitting here, who actually did the miracle during Corona, and together we could actually fight this pandemic. We recently came out of it. And everything what we did was also beyond this country, and we helped a lot of other countries in this world to fight the pandemic. And it was all because of people sitting here, and that's the reason I wanted to request you all to give a big hand for all those people who work together to help the world. So let me start with few numbers. And those numbers are not something which are not known to most of you, but just to set the context, the current Indian pharma business is about 50 billion, 50% exports, 50% domestic. And the projection of crossing $100 billion by 2028 and maybe 120 or 130 by 2030. So almost becoming 3 times in next 6-7 years. We are the top generic manufacturer for the world. We produce 20% of generics for US market, the biggest pharmaceutical market in the world. We have 20% of the global generics volume and 40% of generics for US. And when it comes to UK, we are supplying about 25% of the complete medicines being sold in United Kingdom. 60% of the global volume of the vaccines is being produced in India. 50% of the need of the African countries is being served by Indian exporters. And as alluded by Uday Bhaskarji, more than 200 countries are being served by the Indian manufacturers. So these numbers are actually just an indicator that how big we are and the opportunity which is lying in front of us when we see the future of the pharmaceutical business for this country. And when we are going to become 3 times of the current size, the best thing which we can look at is the opportunity which is lying in front of us when we think of the pharmaceutical business. A very rough estimate that if we are doing things in the right way, each one of us can actually make our turnover 3 times of what we are doing currently. It's a huge opportunity for the whole of the pharmaceutical business currently, which we are doing. So the opportunity is huge, but we have to also understand one thing which is very important, especially for pharmaceutical domain, because we are working with patients, we are touching the lives of human beings. So we have to understand that at the core of this whole business is the quality. Everything is knitted around the core, which is quality. And the opportunity which we have to maybe triple our turnover and the business size will depend only on one factor, which is how soon we realize that quality is at the core of everything. We will have to actually come out of the short-term thinking of quick gains and maybe look towards the long-term strategy, that how do we deal with the quality with the strategy to grow the business. And I have been telling at different forums that as manufacturers, we have to understand it and we have to take it in the right spirit, that quality is the integral part of the pharmaceutical products which we are making. It is actually it has to be as essential as putting a drug in the formulation. Unless until we understand this particular fact, we would probably be not in a position to capitalize the opportunity which we have today in front of us. And for that, one thing on the spiritual side is that unless until we put a purpose which is bigger than individual, we will not be able to do that. And that is something, for me, is the crux of the whole business. We have to identify purpose for each one of us, be it businessman, be it buyer, be it seller, that we have to have one purpose which is bigger than the individual. And the day we realize this and take it as our philosophy, we would have traveled more than 50% of the distance which we need to travel for capitalizing the opportunity. When it comes to regulations, the regulatory in this country for the pharmaceutical domain has actually traveled long since the DNC Act was enacted sometime in 1940s, pre-independence. A lot of amendments have happened, lots of improvements have happened, lots of rules have been brought to streamline the business. And today, lot of facilitation is happening through regulation. And probably regulation has also contributed a lot in developing the pharmaceutical domain in this country in last 75 years post-independence. And it is a continuous process. We are trying to rationalize it further. We are trying to do a lot of things from the ease of doing business point of view. As I talk, a lot of discussions are happening on the policy level, which would further give impetus to the whole export from this country. Pharmaceutical export has established itself. The globe, the world has recognized the potential. It is all happening because of the big infrastructure we have created through the efforts of government, the government policies, the regulations. Largest number of USFDA approved plants outside US. Largest number of probably the colleges producing technocrats. One of the best institutions in terms of IIMs, IITs. And as this whole pharma domain has become more and more interdisciplinary, these colleges, these institutions, they are producing the technocrats, the professionals, to deal with the complexity of the whole domain, which is becoming more and more complex. And because of all this infrastructure, we have been able to do what we have been doing since last so many years. And I think this is a right forum to also let you know that probably about 50 years ago, the situation of pharmaceuticals was at a place where we were probably starting the exports from this country in pharmaceutical. Today, we are in the same situation for medical devices. The medical device, if you see today, we just about a year back, not even a year, since we got this medical device industry under regulation. And 50% of it is already in the regulation. Remaining 50% would happen from 1st of October of this year. And a lot of policy interventions are happening at this point in time. The medical device policy was recently released. So government is actually facilitating the growth of the medical device industry. Next 10, 15 years, you will see maybe a next pharma size and kind of volumes and the business opportunity coming from medical device. So all this is actually giving that whole opportunity to people like you sitting here. The volume of current medical device is maybe around $11 billion from India when it comes to the business of medical device. Only 1.5% on the global of the global trade is with India. If you compare against about 20-25% of the global trade of pharmaceuticals in our hands, see the opportunity which is there available for all of you when it comes to medical device industry. So again, coming to the point of, we have to realize and appreciate the opportunity, and we have to prepare to capitalize that. To this audience, as the head of the National Regulatory Agency from this country, I just wanted to ensure and assure all of you that we are as a country, in complete control of the situation. We are here to help and facilitate for the industry to capitalize the opportunity which you have. Whatever is possible, we will certainly do from the government side, because we want to keep that position of pharmacy of the world, which we have reached with difficulty with the help of all of you. And reaching to top is not easy, it is difficult. But maintaining that position at the top is more difficult than reaching there. And today, India as a country is at a stage where we have to maintain that position and keep serving the whole world when it comes to supplying the affordable medicine with the best possible quality. And with this, I'll end it today, this morning. Thanks a lot for hearing patiently, and all the best. Thank you.